Have you ever wondered how great it would be to wake up in a world where your career growth is predetermined by genetics, rent is free, and your only responsibility is to be part of something truly grand without the distractions of existential crises and electricity bills? Our pal Ardy seems to have already cracked the code. Look at how deftly he squeezes into that tiny chitinous exoskeleton, clearly deciding that 6 legs are far more reliable than 2. Today, he's heading into the most organized society on the planet to show us what true success looks like without the unnecessary fuss. Imagine a civilization that invented agriculture 50 million years before the first hipster decided to plant an avocado on a windowsill. Leafcutter ants don't just haul greenery, they maintain massive underground fungal farms where every farmer knows their role to the smallest detail. They have their own antibiotics to protect the crop, a ventilation system that would make Elon Musk envious, and strict quality control where a bad job doesn't get you fired, you just get reassigned to cleaning the trash chambers. This isn't just instinct, it's an agro-industrial holding the size of your backyard operating 24/7 without weekends or lunch breaks. While we're still trying to figure out how to grow a cactus without needles, these guys are managing a complex ecosystem where the fungus is entirely dependent on the ants and the ants on the fungus. Total symbiosis, zero bureaucracy or subsidies. Ardy, by the way, looks like a seasoned Texas rancher in his new persona among these mushroom plantations, just without the hat and an extra pair of limbs.
The depth of their planning is staggering. If the fungus starts getting sick or yielding a poor harvest, the ants instantly change the composition of the fertilizer, analyzing chemical signals faster than a modern supercomputer processes a chat query. We call ourselves the pinnacle of creation, yet we still can't agree on a single standard for phone chargers. The ants, meanwhile, created an ideal production chain that hasn't glitched for several geological epochs. If you thought Los Angeles highway traffic was the peak of logistical hell, you simply haven't seen the ant superhighways. These guys have no traffic lights, no police, and no jerks cutting in from the shoulder. Yet they manage to maintain maximum travel speeds even during peak loads. The secret is simple. They use pheromone markings that update in real time. If there's a jam or an obstacle ahead, the signal spreads instantly, and the flow is redistributed without a single honk or a nervous breakdown. Furthermore, the ants have a strict lane division. Those returning to the nest with heavy prey always have priority and move down the center, while empty scouts yield the way by shifting to the edges. It's a self-regulating system where the personal ego doesn't exist as a concept. Imagine how much more productive your grocery run would be if you were guided by a collective mind rather than the urge to beat a flashing yellow light. In this chaos, which is actually a higher order, lies a hidden mathematical elegance. Ants find a shortest path to a food source using algorithms that programmers today copy to optimize fiber optic networks. While we spend billions on GPS units that occasionally lead us into a dead end, Ardy, our tiny witness, simply follows the chemical trail, knowing the collective never misses the mark when choosing a route. The architecture of an ant metropolis is a distinct art form that would win a Pritzker Prize every year in our world. Some species build structures reaching depths of 8 meters, featuring precise zoning, incubators, warehouses, royal chambers, and even specialized cemeteries. The passive cooling system in such buildings works so efficiently that even in the most brutal heat, an ideal microclimate is maintained inside for raising offspring. To build such a city, ants move tons of earth, which on a human scale is equivalent to building the Great Wall of China in a couple of weeks using the labor of a single city. And they do it without blueprints, foremen, or endless city hall approvals. Every ant knows the building code at a DNA level. See a loose clump of dirt? Carry it to where it smells like a construction site. Simple, effective, and no kickbacks to contractors. Interestingly, their cities possess incredible plasticity. If part of the anthill is destroyed by a downpour or the hoof of a passing deer, mobilization is instantaneous. No one stands around filming the destruction for their smartphone stories. Thousands of workers begin restoring the foundation while weeds still be filling out insurance claim forms. It's a living, breathing organism where every brick is the result of perfect mutual understanding. The concept of mutual aid among ants is pushed to an absolute that we, with our individualism, find difficult to even grasp. Many species have a so-called social stomach, a crop in which they carry liquid food to later share with their nestmates. This process, called trophallaxis, isn't just feeding. It's a way of transferring information and hormones, uniting the colony into a single neural network. Essentially, they created a living internet long before the advent of electricity. Through the exchange of food, the entire colony learns that the queen is healthy, food is plentiful, and an enemy has been spotted on the southern border. It's the highest form of trust. You literally allow another being to be part of your life support system. For us, resource exchange usually involves receipts, taxes, and suspicious glances. Here, it's pure biological generosity. Even in matters of medicine, they've outpaced us. Ants practice a sort of social immunity. If one of them picks up dangerous fungal spores, the others begin cleaning them intensively, secreting antiseptic saliva. They don't abandon their own in trouble, yet they act with a surgical coldness for the good of the majority. This is a society where social security is stitched into instinct, not the national budget. Ant wars are not chaotic brawls, but high-level strategy involving chemical weapons and flanking tactics. Some species use human shields or create bridges out of their own bodies to overcome obstacles. But the most striking thing is their capacity for reconnaissance. A spy ant can infiltrate a foreign nest, study the enemy's numbers, and return with a report without betraying itself by a single extra movement or the wrong scent. In these battles, there is no room for personal glory, only efficiency. If a squad must be sacrificed to save the queen, it's done without hesitation or pompous speeches. Ardy, watching this from the sidelines, would surely appreciate that no medals are awarded here. The best reward is the survival of your genetic code. This is total war, where logic always dominates emotion. Interestingly, some ant species even engage in diplomacy, or rather enslavement, using sense to force enemies to work for their benefit. They hack into another's friend or foe recognition system, becoming invisible puppet masters. This is biological hacking of the highest order, making us wonder how easily we could be manipulated if even such tiny creatures master the arts of mental control. Aging for an ant isn't an excuse for retirement, but a change in qualification. In ant society, there is a strict age polytheism. Young individuals handle internal work in the nest, tending to larvae, and as they age, they move on to more dangerous tasks like guarding the entrance or foraging. The oldest and most experienced ants are those who venture furthest from home in search of food. The logic here is flawless. If an old ant perishes in the claws of a predator, the colony loses fewer resources than if a young individual with its whole life ahead of it died. It sounds harsh, but therein lies the wisdom of species survival. The elders here are elite special forces, scouts who have seen the world and are ready to provide one last service to society. No stagnation, just eternal motion and functionality until the final breath. In this world, there is no room for a midlife crisis. An ant doesn't wake up thinking he's wasting his life hauling sticks instead of painting pictures. His purpose is clear, his path is defined, and in this absence of choice lies a strange, almost Zen-like freedom. He is part of a perpetual motion machine that requires no grease and never burns out, as long as the queen lives. It's time to admit, this level of biological perfection and absolute social resonance is a bar humanity is still a long way from reaching. We're still arguing over borders and personal gain, while ants built a utopia based on flawless unity and collective triumph long ago. Ardy has made his choice, preferring chitinous clarity to our shaky uncertainty, and all that's left for us is to catch this rhythm in time so we don't get completely lost in our own hustle. Every step of the little worker is a lesson that true strength isn't in loud words, but in synchronized movement toward a common goal.